with increasing the studentship, admitting more people, okay, which is known as the GER, gross enrollment ratio. But we are least bothered about the quality. Of course, only by 1990s we became aware of the quality of teaching, learning process, and thus started the NAC, the first body in that respect. That is NAC, all of you know, are familiar with NAC now, National Accreditation and Assessment Agency. And then onwards, a series of steps have been initiated. In fact, my experience is that it has done good to many of the colleges. I'm a person who, I want to make a correction. I was not in charge of the library. I was in charge of the teaching department of library and information science. Even though our department is located within the university library, of course, these are two entities, but that is my subject. And therefore, I used to serve as the advisor or many other capacities. Anyway, whatever it may be, people began to realize that libraries play a major role in getting good grades in the NAC accreditation process. And my experience is that, many of the private colleges have earned good grades mainly by refurbishing their libraries, mainly equipping their libraries very much, etc. I was just telling Professor Pradeep Kumar while coming to this department that I used to come to St. Teresa's College, your nearby college, very often, because I used to be the advisor to their library and I'm the external auditor to their library, and every year they conduct library auditing, so that you can, as an expert, you can point out the pitfalls, so that by the next time you visit, that will be rectified and they will be aspiring for more. Anyway, that is not quite common in government colleges. And I was one of the members of the Technical Advisory Committee of RUSA. Was when I was in service. I retired a few years back. And then in that capacity as technical expert member, I had the opportunity to pay visit to many of the colleges to inspect whether the projects given by them are worthwhile, or they are able to carry it out, or etc. But even then, I can very well say that the projects given by government colleges, including the university colleges, University College in Trivandrum, one of the most prestigious colleges in terms of the NIRF ranking, they simply write, we will be organizing such and such programs. Simple statements. Whereas some other colleges, for example, the Women's College in Trivandrum, they are very meticulous in preparing plans, etc. So that's why I'm saying I have got very few opportunity to deliver talks in government colleges. Of course, I had the occasion, but you can very well see the difference. But this is just to acknowledge my thanks to the organizers for giving me an opportunity to talk to you. And I am a frequenter to the Academic Staff College. Formerly, it used to be called as Academic Staff Colleges, and later the name was changed to HRDCs, Human Resource Development Centers. Again, that has again been changed. And I hope the teachers might have attended many of the refresher courses or orientation programs. And I am a regular in giving orientation programs as well as refresher courses for different subjects. And for the last 28 years, I have been delivering talks at the HRDC, University of Kerala, Calicut University, as well as Kannur University after its inception. Anyway, I had that opportunity, and I don't know whether anybody is there who had attended my previous sessions in HRDCs. Wherever I go, I used to come across some of the teachers who have attended to my sessions. And this is one of the upcoming topics now. What is it? What is the topic? That is how to publish in scholarly journals. And you know the difference between periodicals and journals. Periodicals, any publication which is brought out periodically at fixed intervals, monthly or quarterly or half-yearly, can be called, or even weekly, can be called as a periodical. Then what is the difference between a periodical and a journal? Anybody? I have the bad bad habit of eliciting answers, but this being a bigger crowd, I may not be, a bigger audience, I may not be able to. Moreover, I used to stand along with the audience rather than, but since it is being recorded, I can't move out and I am forced to stand up here. Anyway, the difference is that periodical means any publication which is brought out periodically can be called as a periodical. It can be a general journal, a general publication, something like Manorama Weekly or Kala Kaumudi or The Week or India Today. That's a periodical. Whereas when you use the word journal, it is of a higher pedestal, a periodical of a higher standard. Very often we refer to we use the term journals in order to refer to subject periodicals. Subject periodicals confined to articles belonging to that particular subject. And that therefore, it is not so easy to write articles, to get your articles published through scholarly journals. And I have added one more dimension, that is scholarly journals. Journals are there, trade journals are there, which are meant for publicity, for popularizing some of the gadgets. Say a new invention or a new type of TV was made available in the market. Then in order to popularize the advantages of the use of TV or the new brand of TV, that will appear in the form of an article in a trade journal. So for example, perhaps some of you might have read about the computer science journals, computer science periodicals, and popularization of software. That is their main target. Of course, higher scholarly journals are there in computer science also. Now, coming to our topic, scholarly journal, and that makes it different from other types of periodicals. And that is why I said it is not so easy to get yourself published. And moreover, what are the advantages of journals? Journal articles are the final output of research. Say, for example, you can't write a popular article and get it published through a journal. Journal. You can do it through Madhubhumi Weekly, or you can do it through Kala Kaumudi, or you can do it through some other periodical. But if you want to get your article published, it should be research oriented. There should be something worthwhile that you can share with the audience. And that is why I said it is the final output of research. And this forms part of academic writing. Academic writing itself is a form of writing. Okay, all of you are familiar with creative writing. That is writing poems, writing short stories, writing novels or plays or drama, whatever it may be. All of them come within the purview of creative writing. Creative writing, you are quite free. You can make use of your own slang. You can make use of, say for example, all of you must be familiar with Muhammad Bashir, Vaikam Muhammad Bashir. Okay, one of his titles is Induppu Pakare Anendarnu. Induppu Pakare Anendarnu. You can't make use of that slang in a journal article. Here you have to be rigorous. You have to follow certain guidelines. This is what we are going to examine today. And as far as subjects periodicals are concerned, or articles are concerned, they are the major means of communication. In science, social sciences, humanities also to a very great extent. I have added only two subjects, science and social science disciplines. As all of you know, economics belong to the social science disciplines. I have deliberately omitted humanities. Why? Because as far as humanities subjects are concerned, something like philosophy or languages and literature, journal articles are not the primary means of scholarly communication. Books also play an equal role. Whereas when you come to social sciences and sciences, the primary focus is on journal articles. Latest research appears in the form of journal articles. That is why I said they are the major means of communication in sciences and social sciences. They constitute the permanent record of scientific work. And moreover, what is the advantage of writing in a scholarly journal? The advantage is mentioned here. A researcher's productivity is judged on the basis of the number of publications. Suppose you have authored 50 articles in your subject area. Definitely, you will be rated high than a person who has authored only 20 articles. Am I not right? Say, He has, say for example, while introducing the speaker, it is very often stated that he has authored more than 100 articles in scholarly periodicals, presented hundreds of papers in conferences, etc. He has authored so many books on the subject. That takes up, or that stands out as the hallmark of that person. So that's why I said it is the number of publications. And along with that, the quality of the publications also matter. How does it matter? Where did he publish or she publish? The journal in which the articles appear, that also matters. So for example, you might have heard about a journal in the field of science, Nature. Are you familiar? Nature. Nature is the most prestigious journal as far as science subjects are concerned. And suppose one of your article has appeared in Nature, means it is equivalent to getting a Nobel Prize. So much prestige is attached to getting an article published in Nature. There is an equally important journal called Science. Nature is published from Britain and the Science is published from America. Getting an article published in Science or Nature is the most prestigious thing. Okay, so the number of articles as well as the journals in which they have appeared, all this speaks volumes about your merit. And then there are certain challenges in getting the articles published in scholarly periodicals. What are the challenges? The challenges are that perhaps you might have been told about the features or the characteristics of academic writing yesterday. As you presume that, I presume so. And the characteristic features are, one is it is complex. Why it is complex? Because you can't straight away write the way you like. Unlike the creative writing, you can't write a journal article the way you like. You can write a short story or you can produce a film the way you like. But that's not the case with academic writing. That's why it is complex and that is formal. You have to make use of formal language. That is another characteristic feature of academic writing. You have to make use of formal. You can't say, I have undertaken this, or I conducted the experiment, I carried out the experiment, I carried out the survey, I made use of the questionnaire for gathering information. Can you say like that? No. You have to say in third person. That is formal. You have to adopt a formal style. And then it has to be objective. Whatever you say should be objective. You can't say, suppose you are writing an article on the demographics of Kerala. All of you are familiar with the demographics of Kerala. I can't say Kerala is a land having a population of about 3 crores. No, nothing of that sort. You have to be exact. According to 2011 census, the population of Kerala amounts to, or is 3.48 or something like that. Then you have to give a reference also. From where did you get that? So that is why it is objective. And at the same time, it has to be explicit. It has to be clear. Explicit means clear. Whatever you write should be clear. What does it mean? The meaning is that you cannot make use of pedantic languages. What is meant by pedantic languages? Scholarly. Pedantic, high-sounding words. If I make use of a pedantic word, highfalutin words. Highfalutin means, again, big sounds. No, it has to be simple. You have to write, you have to make things clear to the audience. And you have to be responsible. You have to own the responsibility of whatever you write. Okay, that means, what does it mean? You have to own the responsibility means you have to be reliable. You are authentic, you have to be authentic. That is what is meant by responsible. And it uses a language precisely and accurately. F5. Is F5? Full screen. Sorry. That is escape. Slideshow. Okay, that means academic writing resorts to or make use of language precisely and accurately. And here, if you want to convey the exact meaning of what you have written, you have to pay attention to syntax. You have to pay attention to semantic. I have indicated the important words in red color. What is meant by syntax? Syntax means the arrangement of words. If the words are not properly arranged, what will happen? The meaning will be changed. It will have a different meaning. Just to cite an example, one of the newspapers, it appeared, and they were making a report about a theft. I hope all of you know Malayalam. Okay, it appeared in a Malayalam newspaper, and the caption was like this: Polisugar kattedutha mudal kandeduthu. That is the heading. Polisugar kattedutha mudal kandeduthu. Appa aara kattedutthathu? What is the idea? പക്ഷെ എഴുതിയ ആൾ ഉദ്ദേശിച്ചത് എന്താ? പോലീസുകാർ കണ്ടെടുത്തു, കട്ടെടുത്ത മുതൽ പോലീസുകാർ കണ്ടെടുത്തു എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞിരുന്നെങ്കിൽ there is no ambiguity, there is no question of understanding it in a different way. That is what is meant by syntax, the arrangement of words. If the arrangement is changed, the meaning may also. So you have to pay more attention to syntax. I am not going for more examples because that will take much of our time. Then semantics, the meaning. Semantics stands for the meaning. It should precisely convey the meaning without any ambiguity. And then you have to pay more attention to punctuation marks. If the punctuation marks is wrongly placed, what will happen? The meaning, again it will affect the meaning. Perhaps you might have heard the classic example of a judge pronouncing the judgment. The judge pronounces the judgment, and the stenographer, olden days it used to be the stenographer, notes it down, or the typist notes it down. And the judgment was like this: hang him, not let him go. Hang him, not let him go. That was the judgment. And the stenographer or the typist put it, hang him not, comma, let him go. Hang him not. Actually, the judgment was hang him, comma, not let him go. But the comma was put after not. Hang him not, let him go. Thousands of such examples can be cited, and this is not the time for that. Okay, and then what are the characteristic features, or what are the challenges confronting the academic writers? Academic writers are the people who resort to academic writing. What is meant by academic writing? Any writing associated with academic assignments. Even writing answer papers is a part of academic writing. So for example, there are teachers here, and while answering an essay question, the teacher expects certain format for the essay. It should have an appropriate introduction, then it should have different paragraphs. It is well and good if it is subdivided by different headings. Okay, there should be an appropriate conclusion, etc. If only all this organization properly organized, then only you will get full marks. Full marks, or sometimes at least 80% or 90%. Otherwise, say for example, if it is given without any rhyme or reason. What is meant by rhyme or reason? Without any logic. Whatever occurs in his mind, he presents it without differentiating it into paragraphs. What will be the percentage of marks? Even if all the points are covered, not more than 50% of the marks will be awarded by the teacher. So that's why I said even writing an exam paper also falls within the purview of academic writing. And what are the characteristic features, or what are the challenges? One is accuracy, that I have already. Whatever you write should be accurate. And why you give references to whatever you write in a journal article? Because you want to establish that that is not your opinion. It has been taken from an authoritative source. And what we call these references, we call it as citations. References are called as citations. We will come to that later. And then academic writing expects you a logical presentation. Logical presentation, I have just mentioned the example of an essay. There should be introduction, and the paragraphs or the points should be exposed in different paragraphs, elaborated in different paragraphs. There should be proper conclusion, etc. And then, moreover, it should be simple. Simplicity is one of the hallmarks. That means you may be very good in language, and using your pedantic language, if you write a journal article, immediately that will be returned. Sorry, we cannot publish it. Why? Because simplicity is one of the hallmarks of academic writing. And in order to remember this, it is called the KISS formula. What is meant by KISS formula? Keep it simple and short. Keep it simple and short. You will never forget KISS. Okay, so that is one of the hallmarks. Keep it simple and short. Short doesn't mean that you should write in one sentence or two sentences or in a paragraph. Okay, but brevity is the hallmark. You might have heard that brevity is the soul of wit. Say, for example, if you are narrating an anecdote, a humorous incident, if you elaborate it in half an hour, the person will not be able to enjoy it. So brevity is the soul of wit. Similarly, you have to be as brief as possible whenever you write. And then style and grammar. You have to pay more attention to style and grammar. You have to follow a particular style. Style means not writing style and as in creative writing. You have to adopt an impartial style. And then analogy. What is meant by analogy? Make use of ample examples. Say, for instance, whatever you write, in order to make clear whatever you have written, once you make a sentence, if you feel that your audience are not in a position to understand it, you have to make it explicit. How can you make it explicit? By making use of analogy. What is meant by analogy? Examples. For example, for instance, etc. And then sensitivity. This is very important in the modern day world. What is meant by sensitivity? Perhaps all of you must be remembering the three words used by Mammootty. What is the film? The King. What are the three things? Sense undavanam, sensitive undavanam, sensibility undavanam. ഞാൻ ഇങ്ങനെയൊക്കെ പറയുന്നത് ഓർക്കാൻ വേണ്ടിയിട്ടാണ്, so that you will never forget. Okay, ഇത് മൂന്നും you have to keep it in mind while you write. What is meant by sensitivity? Because if you say, നിങ്ങൾ യാഥാർത്ഥ്യം പറഞ്ഞാൽ പോലും, that will be affected. That will affect at least a section of people. Okay, that will affect a section of people. പണ്ട് ഒരു ഉദാഹരണത്തിന് ഒരു പർട്ടിക്കുലർ കമ്മ്യൂണിറ്റിയിൽപ്പെട്ട ആൾക്കാർക്ക് മറയ്ക്കാനുള്ള അധികാരം ഉണ്ടായിരുന്നില്ല എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞപ്പോൾ അവരെ ഒബ്ജക്റ്റ് ചെയ്തു. ദിസ് ഈസ് സംതിങ്. എങ്ങനെയാണ് നമ്മുടെ പീപ്പിൾ ആർ affected by that. People are becoming more and more sensitive. Okay, reporter. About you have to say, you have to, whenever you write something, you have to think whether it will affect the sensitivities of persons. Okay, so that should be avoided. And academic writing, you know, it has got a big section, how to write without affecting the sensitivities of people. Say, for example, black color. Black color. Even if a person is really black, you can't make use of, you can't describe he is a blackie. No, that will, he or she will be, okay, adversely affected by that. Okay, so you have to be very careful in academic writing. And then we are coming to the topic, that is, what are the steps involved in the preparation of journal articles. Now, journal articles, I am presenting it in a different way. Different way means this is the actual way. In fact, how do we prepare articles? First of all, we prepare an article, then we will search for journals. Is it not the way we do it? You prepare an article. Suppose you are going to submit your thesis. Then it is mandatory that you should have published 2 articles. Then you will think of you will prepare the journal first out of what you have done as part of your PhD, and then you will search for journals. But ideally, it should be the other way around. What is meant by the other way around? You should identify a journal which is likely to publish your article, because you have already an idea about the topic on which you are going to write the article, and then you have to find out an appropriate journal, and then you have to write the journal according to the stipulations of the journal. Choosing which journal to publish your research paper is of utmost significance. Okay, then where you decide to submit your work or make a big difference to the research reach and impact of your research has. Say for example, would you like to publish your article in a third-rate journal? No. You want to get it published in high-standard journal. Definitely, you have to ensure that fits into their level, their standard. Okay, so you have to identify a journal first. And now, I was pretty sure that there will be PG students and PG students who have to prepare a project, a dissertation at the end of the course. Yeah? Yeah? UG students, okay. That is the latest development with the introduction of the credit and semester system. Previously, okay. Now, how to identify a journal? The first one, consult your teacher, guide, or mentor. I'm not elaborating it. You know what is meant to be a mentor. A mentor is one step ahead of your teacher. Okay, a person, a very seasoned person, a very senior most person who have a genuine interest in your welfare. That is a mentor. Okay. Then identify the journals covered by Web of Science. Have you heard about Web of Science? Web of Science is one of the databases, most prestigious databases in the world. Web of Science. Say for example, UGC has stipulated that if you want to get recognition, you have to publish articles in UGC approved journals, otherwise known as the care list of journals. Care list of journals. And what does it contain? The care list contain the journals approved by Web of Science, the journals approved by Scopus, the third one, Scopus. Scopus is an equally good database by a publisher called Elsevier. Okay, so these journals which are approved by Web of Science, approved by Scopus database, are automatically included in the UGC care list. Okay, and then the journals covered by UGC care list. Of course, UGC, I will come to that later. UGC care list has got two sections, Group 1 and Group 2. One group consists of journals approved by Web of Science and Scopus. The second list, or Group 1, are the journals which are approved by UGC by a body appointed by UGC. And that work is given to, anybody knows which university is assigned with the task of identifying appropriate journals? Anybody? It is Pune University. Savitri Bhai Phule University. Pune University is assigned with the task of identifying journals. Otherwise, what will happen? No Indian journal will, or very few Indian journals will find a place in the UGC care list. And many of the very good journals were eliminated because most of the very good journals in regional languages were eliminated when they revamped the list. So they have appointed a body, an agency, in order to scrutinize the caliber of the journals. Caliber of the journals means the prestige of the journal, and include and take decision as to their inclusion. So identify the journals covered by SCImago. Have you heard about SCImago? No? Or yes? SCImago, I will come to that later. Okay, then select journals from directory of open access journals. Have you heard about open access? Students must be familiar with that. Research scholars may have some idea. Open access means, now you know, many of the articles are available in the internet. Many of the articles which are of use to you are available in the internet. They are the articles which have appeared in prestigious journals, but since they have appeared in open access journals. What is meant by open access? Conventional journals are not open access, closed access. That means if you want to read those articles, you have to subscribe to those journals. Either you have to personally subscribe to that, or your library should subscribe to that. Okay, and the cost of the journals is very high, and only by paying the high price that you can read those articles. But the open access journals follow a different pattern, a different economic pattern. It's a different economic model. What is that economic model? In the traditional model of printed publications, the author need not pay anything. Once it is accepted by the publisher, the readers have to pay. But here it is the reverse way. That means the author has to pay. Of course, it involves some cost of the publication involves cost. Publication involves cost. Huge costs are involved in the publication of journals. And how do they realize the money? They realize the money by charging article processing fee. Article processing charge, APC, article processing charge. Say for example, as far as foreign journals are concerned, they will charge $500 to $5,000. Just imagine $5,000 to get your article published. It is beyond our capacity. But as far as Westerners are concerned, they will carry out research based on the project funds. Those of you who are teachers know project funds have got a provision. 10% of the project funds can be utilized for publications. Okay, now, and there is a directory of all the open access journals that is known as DOAJ. If you are not familiar, you can just note down. It is freely accessible. If you take Google and type in DOAJ, immediately the directory will appear before you. I will be showing the slides. And then you can go by the impact factor of the journal. I hope you know what is meant by impact factor. Impact factor is a measurement of the quality of the journal. It is basically an index. Impact factor is a number calculated by a well-known agency called Web of Science, which I have already mentioned. They assign impact factor for journals every year. They revise the impact factor. And how do they calculate the impact factor? The impact factor is calculated based on the citations received by the articles. Citations I have already mentioned. They are the references obtained by articles. And what do? The number of references or the number of citations received by your article divided by the number of articles published in a journal. Thereby you will get a number that is known as the impact factor. I am not elaborating it because there is not much time for that. So these are some of the means of identifying appropriate journals. First of all, you have to consult your teacher. They are more experienced and therefore they may be in a better position to say this is a good journal in our field, so try to publish it. And they must be knowing whether it is included in the UGC care list. Otherwise, if you want to find out what are all the journals that are included in the Web of Science, of course, you just type in. Say, for example, you want to find out what are all the journals in the field of economics that is available in Web of Science. You just type in. There are persons who have done it for you. Okay, you will get a long list. It goes like that, one by one. Okay, it goes like that. Hundreds of journals will be listed. Thereby, you will get the entire list of journals covered by Web of Science in the field of economics. Okay, and then same is the case with Scopus indexed journals. There are many such sites you can identify. Say, for example, I have taken top 20 Scopus indexed journals in economics and finance. You just type in, you will get a list of 20. It goes beyond that, it goes up to 20. And many more journals can be found out. Many more sites are there. This is one of the ways by means of which you can identify very good journals in the world. Scopus indexed journal means it is more prestigious. And Web of Science indexed journal means it is prestigious in the respective field. And then comes the UGC care list. This I am leaving it to you. Anybody can go through UGC care list. And here, UGC care list, you can just see UGC care list group 1 and second UGC care list group 2. What are the group 2 means? These are the journals recognized by Web of Science and Scopus. And group 1 means those journals which are identified and included by the agency earmarked for the purpose. And then you can go further. You can search yourself. I am leaving it to you for homework. Whenever you are free, you can just search and You can learn a lot of things, especially research scholars can learn a lot of things. You can identify the most appropriate journal to get your article published. So experiment, experiment, experiment. Learn by yourself. And then I'm coming to SJR. SJR stands for SCImago Journal Ranking. SCImago Journal Ranking. What is meant by SCImago? SCImago is a website, an agency. Actually, it is maintained by University of Granada and as a social service. Actually, they work upon the database of Scopus. They make use of the same database of Scopus, but they have got their own algorithms. I hope all of you know what is meant by algorithm. Their own methods of formula of calculating the best indexed journals. They are not blindly following the CiteScore. CiteScore, Web of Science, impact factor. Web of Science, impact factor. Scopus, CiteScore. Okay, CiteScore, CITESCORE. CiteScore also talks volumes about the quality of the journal. Okay, here SCImago journal and country rank also is there. If you are interested in journal ranking, okay, you can type in. You can type in the title of the journal in the box, in the window. Okay, or if you want to find out the articles or find out the journals in a particular subject, that also is possible. Why it is known as country ranking? Because you want to know which country is ahead in the production of chemical articles or articles in the field of chemistry. China or India. You can find out. You can have a ranking of the countries in each and every subject. That is why I said it is fun to try with that. Which country is ahead in the production of economics literature? Okay. Which country has made outstanding contributions to the field of economics, etc. Okay. Now you can just see, this is the general listing. And here you can just see the SJR. SJR is the index number which is equivalent to the CiteScore or impact factor. So Web of Science, impact factor. CiteScore, Scopus. And SJR, what is the thing? SJR. Okay, that is SCImago Journal Ranking. They have got their own index number. That's why I said, even though they follow the database of Scopus as such, they have got a different mechanism of calculating the SJR. Thereby, this is a general list, and if you want to find out, say, here, you know, in the earlier slide, these are kept blank. If these boxes are kept blank, you will get a general list, general ranking of journals. But if you want to find out the articles, a particular subject, you have to fill the second column, all subject categories, and there you have to fill in. And I have given economics and econometrics. I want to find out the journals rank in the rank order, economics and econometrics. Okay, and there just you can see an array of journals, more than 700 journals. Okay, 718 journals are listed one by one in the rank order. That means this database contains 718 journals in the field of economics and econometrics, and they are listed in the rank order. Now, you want to find out which are the top-notch journals in the field of economics in India. And you can just see what is the last column. The last column gives the flag of the country. From the flag, you have to identify the country. Now, if you want to find out the best top-ranking journals in economics and econometrics published from India, in that case, what you have to do, in the box dealing with country, you just put it as India. This I have already done. Sorry. And this is another one, economics, econometrics and finance, because I want to specifically include the journals in finance also. So I have searched this. Okay. And now I have tested with this, India. And here it was found that there are only 6 journals. There are only 6 journals. What are the 6 journals? Just you can see. Journal of Entrepreneurship. How do you pronounce? Entrepreneurship. Okay. Journal of Indian Economic Review, Journal of Emerging Market Finance, Ecology, Economy, Society, etc. And here you can see an emblem, an open lock. What does it mean? It is open access. It is an open access journal. That is the emblem of open access. Wherever you come across an open lock, you can see, you can be sure that it is freely available. You need not pay anything to read it. And if you are interested, you can read this journal, Ecology, Economy and Society. And if you click here, you will be taken to the website of the journal. This is why I said you can experiment yourself. You can learn by yourself. And especially research scholars have got a lot of time if you are in the preliminary stages of research. Okay, you can experiment with that and become a master. And this is what I expect from you. Okay, now I'm coming to exclusive open access journals. I told you what is meant by open access journals. Those journals which are freely available in the internet, where the authors have to pay the article processing fee, and it is freely available to the users. And you can just see from the statistics that so far it covers more than 20,000 journals. Just imagine, this directory started in 2003, hardly 20 years. Within 20 years, the number of journals in the open access arena have increased more than 20,000. So many journals are available. Okay, say this is also absolutely free. You just take Google, just type in DOAJ, you will end up here. And remember, it covers journals in 80 languages and 136 countries. By the way, how many countries are there in the world? This is the bad quality of a quizmaster. Yes? 180. 180. No, there are 193 members in the UN. Okay, it's approximately, you can say, near about 200. Because, if you take the countries, some of the countries are under the control of, still they remain as colonies, as we remained until 1947. Okay, some colonies are there dominated by the European and American. Then, so many journals and more than 96 lakhs 71,000 articles are absolutely freely available. Just imagine. Through these journals, you can see 9 crores 96 lakhs 71,130 articles are available free of cost in different subjects. And you can play with your mobile and exploring more and more things. And if you are interested, and you can, I have just given economics and finance as the subjects, and it was shown that there are 325 indexed journals. Okay, 325. And then it will be listed one by one. So for example, here you can just see the title. And if you click under the title, you will be taken to the home page of the website of the journal. Okay, now I just wanted to know review of business and economic studies. And if you click here, you will go into details. What are the articles that have appeared? Not full text, but the abstract of articles that have appeared in the last issue, etc. All these things. You can just experiment with that. And while searching these things, I came across, and I am also learning new things, okay? And I found that this particular site is very useful for students and research scholars. Inomics. I don't know whether you are familiar with that. Okay, here just you can see it talks about jobs in the field of economics, courses in the field of economics, programs, online scholarships, and conferences, blogs, all these things are there. So you just explore with that. Okay, and here I got into that because that also speaks of the major journals in the field of economics, top journals in economics. They give a list, just like the list that we have already seen. It also gives a list of, say for example, the Quarterly Journal of Economics by Oxford University Press. Oxford or Oxford? Oxford. That is how all of us say, but actually it is Oxford. Oxford, that is the correct pronunciation. And Oxford University, Stanford University, Harvard University. We used to say Harvard. Okay, that is our way. And let me ask you a question. There is a place called DALLAS. DALLAS in America. How will you pronounce? It is actually Dallas. Okay, but I have seen people pronouncing it as Dallas. Dallas, as people in Kottayam say, Dallas. Okay, anybody from Kottayam side? What is Dallas? Onion. That is the term used by them. Dallas. Okay. So there should be some entertainment also. Okay, so the list goes on and on. You can find out a whole lot. And now, impact factor, I told you, impact factor is an index number that speaks volumes about the quality of the journal, and it is calculated by Web of Science. Actually, the actual journal which brings it out is known as JCR, Journal Citation Reports. Okay, every year, Journal Citation Reports, in the second paragraph, you can see Journal Citation Reports by Clarivate Analytics, that is the agency which brings out Web of Science. They brings out the Web of the impact factor, and the equivalent Scopus is site score. This I have already mentioned. Now, how to select the appropriate journal. Now, I have given you some of the avenues from where you can get a lot of journals, internationally famous journals. And if you want to confine yourself to India, that also is possible. I have given the things. And once you have selected some journals, what are the things that you have to worry about? You have to go through the website of the journal, or you have to go through the hard copy. If it is available in your library, you just go through the hard copy. And you can see in most of the journals on the last cover, there will be guidelines to instructors or instructions to authors, wherein the details, how to prepare an article. It will talk about the aims and scope of the journal. Why I said you have to identify the journal first? First of all, you have to identify whether a particular journal will, or your article falls within the aim and the scope of the journal, coverage of the journal. Even though the title is Journal of Economics, they may not include all articles in the field of economics. They may have some focal areas. So that's why I said identify the journal first and then write for the journal. Then types of articles accepted. Okay, then what about the readership? Because you want to get it published in a popular journal. Popular in the sense that which has got high circulation. And then current hot topics. How can you identify the current hot topics? If hard copies are available in the library, you can go through the previous editions. Even otherwise, if you go through the website of the journal, you can see previous issues. Contents of the previous issues with abstracts will be available. And thereby that gives you, or you will get an idea as to what is the coverage of the journal and what are the hot topics which are given priority by the journals. This is how you fix up the journal in which you can find out. And then step 2, follow the guidelines to authors. Follow the guidelines to authors. Okay, I told you, if it is the hard copy, you can just see in the cover page, you can see the guidelines. Otherwise, you have to log on to the website. Now, every journal has got its own website. There it can. I have given some of examples. One is Economic and Political Weekly, perhaps one of the most popular weeklies or journals in India. The Indian Economic Journal, British Educational Research Journal, etc. And political, this is the homepage of the journal. And there is guidelines on style for authors. This is just to make you understand that very detailed instructions will be available. How to prepare an article. What are the things you have to pay attention to. So guidelines, say for example, how to give references, endnotes. How to give references and endnotes. And then how to give citations, in-text citations, within the text, how to give the references. Author date system, then how to give page numbers, how to give notes and references, okay? And then how to give the references, okay? and how to give references to government publications, how to give references to books, how to give references to reports. All these things are given elaborately. Okay, all these things. This is just to make you understand that all these journals will give instructions to authors as detailed as possible. Okay, now the Indian Economic Journal, one of the good journals. I'm not sure, I have judged because it is a SAGE publication. SAGE is a very good publisher, international publisher, which have taken over many of the Indian journals, and they maintain the quality, but its impact factor is 1.09 or something like that. It's not very high. Anyway, it's a very good journal, Indian Economic Journal, and here aims and scope. What are all the areas covered by Indian Economic Journal? And then it also, you can also get an idea as to what are all the items published recently. In the latest issue of the journal, what are all the articles published? If you click there, you will be given the abstract, but not the full text, because it is a paid journal, and therefore you will not get the full text. Okay, thereby you will get an idea as to what are all the hot topics, what are all the areas which are given priority by the journal. Every journal has got its own priority areas. Then the third step is strictly adhere to publication ethics. And this has become all the more important now, especially in the context of artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence. I hope all of you might have heard about what is the artificial intelligence software that are commonly used. ChatGPT, because that is the most popular one. ChatGPT, and everybody, you just give the topic and ChatGPT will prepare an essay for you or an article for you. But remember, even that will be caught hold of. You may think that it is, after all, most advanced software, and therefore, and now you know there is a software called the Drillbit. Okay, Drillbit can identify this AI generated content also. Okay, so you have to, I am not going into the details of, because this itself is a topic which I used to deal with in 3 hours. That is publication ethics. Because nowadays, you know, as far as MPhil or those who are registering for PhD, you have to undergo a program, a 30-hour program, and the syllabus has been prescribed by the UGC about publication ethics, publication misconduct, etc. I used to take online sessions for various universities. Okay, that itself. Why? Because copying has become a big problem. So you have to strictly adhere to COPE. What is COPE? Committee on Publication, Committee on Good Publication Practice. That is COPE. That is, they have brought out guidelines on good publication practice. I am not dealing with that. And then, what should be the structure? You have to have an idea about the structure. That means you have to follow a format called MROD format. What is meant by MROD format? MROD, what does it mean? MROD actually stands for introduction. In the middle you can see main text. What are all the components of the MROD format? It should have, every article should have an introduction. It should have methods. It should have results. It should have discussions. So these are the components of any journal article, mostly in the field of science. In social sciences also, more or less, these components are there. What are all the components? Introduction, methods, results, and discussion. You go through any journal article, you will see that all of them follow this pattern. This pattern is known as MROD format. I will be dealing with it in greater detail in another slide. Okay, this is introduction, methods, results, discussion, and conclusion. That is MROD format. Okay, then I will be having another after 2 slides. Okay, step 5, proper manuscript language. I am not stressing this. This is very important. Unless you pay attention to manuscript language, it will be straight away rejected. Whenever you send an article to a journal, the editor or a team appointed by the editor will just glance through the article, and if they find that if it is incorrigible, What is meant by incorrigible, beyond repair? Nothing can be done. So many spelling mistakes, so many grammar mistakes, tense, everything goes wrong. Okay, immediately that will be rejected. And for your information, and studies have revealed that about 35% of the articles received by various journals have been rejected outright. What is meant by outright? In the preliminary screening itself, they are rejected. What are the reasons? Because of poor grammar or poor spelling mistakes, etc. Even though there are many softwares. A typical example is Grammarly. Have you heard about Grammarly? Do you have Grammarly here? No? No. Okay. You can just request the library people if they have got money. Because most of the colleges, I told you about private colleges, they are going for Grammarly. Okay. Say for example, now even PG dissertations have to be checked for plagiarism. And along with that, Grammarly can be used for both. For checking the grammatical errors, sentence construction, all these things will be corrected using Grammarly. Don't be under the impression that I am a spokesman of Grammarly because it is a paid, free version also is there, but very few facilities are available. Okay. As I told you, these are the questions that you have to ask yourself. Due to want of time, I am just skipping it, and I am just submitting, just giving to stepping to step 7. What is the step 7? You have to submit the article. Okay. And before submitting the article, yes.
Can we use ChatGPT for correcting grammar?
No, that itself is something written for you, and therefore there will not be grammatical mistakes. Okay, ChatGPT is not a grammatical correcting mechanism. That will help you in preparing textual matter. Okay.
Nowadays, ChatGPT can also, people are
using it. Okay, just to know whether this usage is correct or not. But okay, that can also be. But if you request to prepare something for you, that will do it for you. Okay, that is the main purpose behind it.
Now it will check the grammar mistakes.
Grammar mistakes also, because they want to add more and more features. That is the case with the Grammarly also.
But it can be found out. Whether the text can be generated.
Yeah. Okay.
That can be easily found out.
Yeah, that is why I said about the Drillbit and other softwares which are available in the market now. Okay, now how to send the manuscript? Okay, you have to thoroughly understand the guidelines given by the authors. There you will be given clear instructions as to how. And more, if you want to send an article, first of all, it is better to have a covering letter. Because some of the journals will stipulate that your name should not appear anywhere in the text. Usually, below the title, your name and the credentials, your address will be there. But some of the journals will say, don't put these things. Why? Because they are following a double-blind peer review process. Do you know what is meant by peer review? Peer review is the process undertaken by the publishers. They will give, whenever they receive an article, they will give a copy. If they find that is acceptable, they will give a copy to a reviewer, a specialist in your area. And if only he recommends, then only it will be published. And some of the journals follow double-blind peer review. They are quite insistent that the author's name should not be known to the reviewer. Most of the journals follow single-blind peer review. Single-blind peer review means you don't know the reviewer, but the reviewer knows your name. Double-blind means neither of you know each other. And in that case, you have to give your address and other things in the covering letter itself. And what is the need for covering letter? Because you can explain what is your qualifications, what enables you to carry out such a study. Suppose this is no. It is studies have shown that 85% follow single-blind peer review. That means your name will be known to the reviewer. But only 10% of the journals follow double-blind. They are the high journals. Okay, here you have to introduce yourself. What are your qualities that enable you to contribute such an article? And then you can send earlier. some Indian journals used to insist on sending a manuscript copy, but most of the Indian journals have also switched over to sending by email or online transmission. That is the most preferred form now, online transmission. And just see, I have taken the example of Indian Economic Journal. They have got an online where you have to open an account, then you have to upload the article. Now, opening account has become quite common as a part of day-to-day life. Wherever you want to access, if you want to access something, you have to open an account, and thereby you can say you have to log in and then you can upload. Okay, now what are all the preferred file formats? This also, most of the journals prefer document or docx file. Okay, document .doc or .docx files are images, and images should be more than 300 dpi. dpi stands for, that is the quality of the figure. dpi stands for dots per inch. Okay, minimum 300 should be there. And it's if it is line art, it's a line sketch, it should be more than 1200 dpi. Then figures and tables can be images or Word files. You can send it in the form of images, JPG. I hope all of you know what is JPG file or Word files. Please make sure to clearly name all images, figures and tables. This is very important. If you send a table without any caption means table number and heading, they won't accept it. Okay, all these things have to be taken care of before submitting the article. Okay, now we are going into the second part of the thing, and that is what are the things you have to remember in preparing the article for publication. The preliminary steps I have already told you. How to identify the journal. Even though within a limited time, I was trying to cover this much. How to identify the most appropriate journal, what are all the techniques that you can employ. And once you have identified a journal, you have to properly identify the journal in which you wish to send the manuscript. Then critically go through the guidelines given by them, study them, and try to faithfully follow the guidelines. Then only it will be accepted. If there is any error, if you commit any mistake in the guidelines, say for example, if the references that you give follow a different style than the reference style followed by, prescribed by the journal, that is the reason for this rejecting it. Okay, now just let us break for